Good morning. My name is Kirsty Dignam and I'm here to look at, what am I here to do? I don't know. I'm here to look at the energies for this week in today's Monday's Musings. Now, at first, I really didn't feel part of what was going on. I really didn't feel as if there was anything coming through. And this week, there feels like there's a real fine line between necessary detachment and... No, actually, there isn't. That's an old story trying to come up. Okay, so let's take some time and really connect further to what is going on this week. It's going to take quite a bit of stretching. So when I first set out my computer today for the guidance, I put the camera right at the top of the screen and I had to really stretch in order to find its place, in order to make sure what needed to be seen was seen. And that is going to be key this week because we're in a real trickster type energy with Gemini, with the solstice. We have a very playful masculine almost trying to come through, but a more nurturing, softer, gentle feminine required in order for that to happen. So stretching out of our comfort zone, particularly those that have become almost, I can say this myself, rigid in how we perceive those two polarities to be. There's some big shifts occurring, some big changes occurring, and this week it's really important to be open to the information that needs to come through. So back to the original. What am I here? What am I sharing today? That again is going to be poignant. What is being asked of us this week amongst any confusion? Laugh, find some humor this week. It's really going to be needed, but not to take ourselves so seriously, and open up to what it is we are here to offer. There's a big emphasis on authenticity and integrity this week, and knowing our place in a positive way. Not know your place, but knowing our place and stepping up to the bench, stepping up. It's our turn now to step up and take the lead, if not of anything else, but most definitely our own existence and our own life and our own roles in what it is we are creating. So I went to the kitchen. And I thought, gosh, wow, okay, I'm not really feeling as if I'm part of this energy. I'll just do a reading and whatever is asked of me, but it's not affecting me. I'm totally detached from it all. I can witness and observe. And the moment I opened up to that more shadow perspective of myself with some humour, boom. The messages really started to come through in regards to needing to laugh at ourselves, to take a good, long, hard look at ourselves with some humility, but also, again, with some humour. To note that there is no difference between humility and humour. Okay, so, to be humble is to take things lightly. It isn't to downplay our role. It isn't to downplay what is going on around us, but it is to transform heavier energies into lighter, more heart-expanding stretching that is being asked of us this week. Because we do have the solstice, which I will get to in a moment, but we do have the solstice and we have that balance. Yes, we have the longest day. We have more light coming in. And what is the light? Well, light is Sami. It is the masculine. Obviously we have the Hucha, which is the feminine, more denser energy, and the Sami, which is the masculine. And at the solstice they really unite in that sacred commitment to balance each other out. And this week it's that we're being asked to do, to ensure that our light balances our dark and that our dark balances our light. And we will be shown where that homeostasis isn't occurring. Why? Because it's pivotal pivotal to our own healing, pivotal to our own well-being, pivotal to our own acceptance and our ability to open up to what is now being asked of us. If we cannot see where we are from both sides of the metaphorical coin, then we're not going to be able to see what it is we now wish to achieve or the world that we're bringing into place. So with that in mind, I've just literally completely forgotten everything that I saw in the kitchen. Everything. I'm getting little flashbacks of the hero dog tin that was open, and I'm getting little flashbacks of being able to see everything that was in front of me and straight, but it's all gone. It's all gone. And that again feels like key. At the beginning of this video, it felt as if old stories were still trying to come up, but they are gone. Okay, and really respecting the door just shut as we go through this solstice, really deciding what it is, as always with every day, but deciding what it is we are going to take forward. Okay, so for me, I just felt a load of energy and come in. For me, there's a real emphasis of recognizing that I can observe, but I am still part of what is going on. And that actually, I feel, is going to help a lot of us that have become less visible in the visible world for whatever reason, you know, for doing work in the background or holding space or witnessing or whatever, but also to really recognize how important that role is, for that role actually to be seen. And it is going to come to light. The recognition of what has been occurring behind the scenes is going to come to light over the next few weeks, and not in a perceived negative manner either, but more in a constructive view. So that brings me on to this new moon that has just gone. Whoa, what a doozy. So for the most part, I can feel what's going on astrologically, and I'm okay with it. And you know, 9 times out of 10, I get affected a lot less. I'm more stable than I used to be with my emotions and how they were affected. I'm a lot more stable. This new moon in Gemini, oh my God, it just came along and wobbled any platform that I had any hope of being balanced upon. So a little bit like those wobble core boards. Gosh, I really had to get right down into the core strength, core beliefs, core values, core wounds, right, as a result of them. And it all started for me when I invested in myself, when I actually decided to physically, financially invest in something that I will be doing from July onwards, that is stretching me on all levels. And I wobbled, not just from the physical aspects, but the underlying aspect for me that if I go after what I want, X, Y, Z may happen. And that's going to come to light this week for many of us needing to speak up, if it's for ourselves only, to hear of what it is we now need in order to move forward, and trusting that those needs will be met by us first and foremost, acknowledging them and stepping up to the I may see like to bat, stepping up to bat, okay, for the home run, to take us back to who we are. Which brings me on to the next part with the Gemini new moon. I was going to say Mars in Gemini, but actually that's my alignment with it, which is why it's been so rocky the last few days. I have had to go back and really look at areas that I believed were clear, stories that I believed had been transmuted that had actually been silenced. And I go like this with my jaw because I went for a free kinesiology session that just happened to pop up, and I believed I was helping people out, helping students out, when in reality on a subconscious level I was being guided to go and receive the messages that needed to come through for myself. And this week that's going to be key, that we may need to seek aid from an external perspective. You know, to see things that we may not want to look at, to see things that we may not be aware of, to be witnessed. All those that observe, it's really beneficial every now and then to be witnessed. You know, one, to recognize what you do for others, but also to really see yourself from another angle. Really, that is where we learn many different perspectives, which again is key this week, to really discover other views, other aspects of our vision, to ensure that we are ready to bring them into play, that we are ready to deliver what it is we've been trying to create. And no way. On this kinesiology report, there was a list of foods that I'm eating that I believe are doing me good, like gluten-free and, oat milk and things like that are really not doing me any good. Substitutes. Yes, substitutes. I have been substituting food, replacing, meat and gluten and things, and without being aware of the hidden ingredients within it. What happens when we substitute what we need for something we believe is better? What are the hidden ingredients in there? What else are we actually consuming? Okay, really looking at that this week. Because I've actually been putting on weight, and I've been putting on weight because I've been eating things that I believed were good for me, that are full of, hidden sugars and hidden this and hidden that. And this week, really, we're being asked to see everything from an upside down perspective. So I have this long list of food and, things that aren't that great for me, based on what my muscles have said about my own body. So again, that's pivotal, based on the communication that's coming from my own physical self this week. And nothing that I didn't know deep down inside. Nothing that, a year or so ago I started doing regular juices in the morning, and they really worked at first. And then I had a turning point where I felt as if I wasn't flushing them properly in my kidneys. And my back hurt, and I actually put it down to carrying flint, because that was the obvious answer, right? My back hurt because I've been working my muscles. And actually, yesterday or the day before, my body confirmed what I always knew, when it was what I was consuming I believed was good for me actually wasn't. Okay, so this week, it may not be the obvious answers. It may not be the answers that we are used to, but really going deep within and trusting what we receive as from our body as the information that we need, especially in this confusing trickery time of Gemini. There's a lot to be said. Okay, there's a lot to be said, and the advice that I would give for this week is to really look at how it's applicable to you. The best way to direct the communication that you need to be heard, and your own ability to listen. So I decided this new moon in Gemini, why had it been wobbling me so much? And I looked at my own astro chart. Now, I'm not an astrologist, but Astro Cafe, places like that, will do a free astrological chart, and they will break down aspects of your own birth positions with the planets. I have Mars in Gemini, which I was just looking down this list of potential based upon that placement, and oh my goodness, I can really see why it wobbled me. I can really see why I was shifted by what was occurring around me. I was shifted deliberately, beautifully, so that I could see what I needed to do about that. So this week, really looking at why you feel what you feel. How is what's going on around you applicable? What are you being asked to share as a result, if anything? Is there anything else? The half cup, yes. So I made myself a cup of tea. That was the only thing I can remember actually from the kitchen. And I feel like I want to cover up what I'm saying. I made myself a cup of tea before I do the reading, which we're 13 minutes. And it's the Goddess cup. I'm deliberately trying to drink out of the Goddess cup. And I hadn't filled it right up. And we have a saying, the tide's gone out in that cup. And I looked at it, and all that came to mind was the half cup. I'm really deciding how we choose to view that this week. One of the big things with this new moon in Gemini, and with Saturn going retrograde, and I think Neptune's up to things as well, is there's a wonderful opportunity to see the magic that we do bring to the table, but we must ensure what angle we are doing it from. Is the cup full? Is it half empty? Is it, whatever it is, top it up to the level that you need. Recognize what is in your body. Recognize what nurture is required. Recognize what you now need in order to create the magic that you're trying to sustain for others. Interesting. Okay. I did the most incredible sound bath yesterday, or I was part of the most incredible sound bath yesterday. And one of the things that really came through again with this theme of authenticity is to know that externally we are going to be called out. We are going to be called out. Are you practicing what you preach? If you're a healer, are you doing your own healing? If you're helping other people with their trauma, are you facing your own? And it's not that we're not. As we go through the gates of the solstice, there is another level coming. It's been here for some time, but it's there now. It's there, and it's ready to walk through. And as we walk through the gates of our own Eden, basically, at the solstice, we are going to be made to look at where we need to up our game. We want these things to come in. we need to align with them. We need to match with them. It really is that simple. None of us are immune. That's what I hear. None of us are immune. Okay. And, you know, at the bottom of the pack, we have Six of Pentacles as a result. Breakthrough. Yeah, being that sunflower, being that tall. I think this time last year I did a video about sunflowers as well. So it is a current theme. That's going to be really beneficial to focus on this week. It will be a current theme that has come up for you, that has helped you grow throughout your whole life. So if you take anything from this video, if something comes up and it's familiar, that's the one. That's the one that's going to help you grow. It's a current theme. So mine a couple of days ago absolutely was self-worth. Definitely investing in myself and what I felt I would lose as a result. Okay, so really looking at what current themes are coming up for you and seeing them for the growth, the breakthrough that they do actually provide. Okay. Right, so what are we going to do? What are we going to do about it? We have the Five of Water here, the loss. Okay, and again, when we grow, what happens when we embrace those new beginnings? What happens? We leave something behind. Okay, but it is about recognizing that we're not actually losing something. Again, this is those cups, right? Are they full? Are they half empty? Are they broken? Do they need to be restored? We're not losing something. We're bringing those lessons home to where they first initiated. Okay, so one of the things I noticed this week, Mars in Gemini, right? So I do things in a roundabout way. I'm a storyteller. That's what I do. Okay, and that can be quite frustrating, but I'm recognizing that process now for the colorful, abundant movie, if you will, that it plays out of my own life. A couple of days ago, I invest in myself. I have a wobble. I then, because I have a wobble, start eating crap food to make myself feel better. Because I eat crap food, my mental health starts to plummet. Because my mental health starts to plummet, I start to feel grief over my mother and actually feel my mother very close to me in my time of need. This is all building up before Father's Day. This is all building up before the new moon in Gemini. This is all building up before I do the sound bath and the collective healing. Over those days, I gave myself permission to have a good old sob, a good old cry, to really not pity myself, but go within and hold space for everything that needed to clear. I get to the kinesiology, I have the steps to take forward as a result. It may feel as if we do things in a roundabout way this week, but really, really looking at what is the ultimate gain, what is the ultimate goal. I needed time out. I needed time to be with what I felt. Now, I have been brought up to go through this whole process first before I allow myself to do that. But actually, if I can recognize that that's what I'm doing, the process gets quicker. So this week, really looking at the path that you're taking, what it is you're trying to achieve as a result, and perhaps allowing yourself just to have that in each moment, to top up that cup. And that includes taking time to grieve for what was, to witness what it is you are growing from, the lessons, the hardships, the relationships, all of it. Allow them to fill your cup as well. Because what I really felt underneath it all, it was beautiful timing. I was recording the Moon Eye Key, some of the meditations, and one of them was a soul retrieval. And what I really felt underneath it all, with this Five of Cups, with these broken cups here, was aspects of myself coming home, coming back, soul loss, coming back because I'd give myself permission to release everything that had happened as a result and to nurture myself enough that those parts felt safe enough to come back. This week we are going to be bringing back aspects of the masculine. Of course, we're coming up for the solstice and there's going to be that union, but there's going to be that union with ourselves as well. So providing the environment for these parts of yourself to come back. So if you have current themes around your childhood that may come up this week, what does your inner child need from you in order to come home to you and stay with you? That's going to be key as well this week, stay with you. So I'm really aware of old stories and old patterns trying to come to light here. And the moment I feel them, it's like those parts that I've gained back this weekend, even though it's been difficult, those parts I've gained back are kind of like, no, I'm out. You know, you haven't kept to your promise, you're not going to look after yourself, so I'm out. So really being aware of that, it's one thing to bring those parts of you back home, it's one thing to learn from the lessons, but it's another to hold a library full of that wisdom. It's another to make sure that you don't push that part of yourself away again, because if you keep doing that, then the lessons need to keep coming in. So how can we round that about this week? Again, it is about finding the direct, clear communication underneath it all. What is actually applicable here? Trusting your physical body, knowing that your light needs to balance your dark needs to balance your light. That is polarity. Knowing that balance itself is the undercurrent of all healing, of all abundance, of all manifestation, of all magic. Okay, really looking at your own elements, your thoughts, your emotions, your physical actions, and your drive and ambition this week, and ensuring that they're all balanced. What else? Well, that would be the same thing. So looking at where you're creating from, looking at your cup. Are you creating from a place of loss, soul loss, in fact, you know, and what do you need to do to bring those parts of yourself back this week? Ceremony is key. I will be doing a ceremony myself on Wednesday for the solstice, because I'm busy on the Tuesday. I'll be doing despacho, but ceremony is key, and that can be as simple or as elaborate as you like. But again, it's about recognizing that the solstice is a doorway like any portal, but also rites of passage. If we acknowledge where we were, actually truly take time to sit down and acknowledge where we were, where we are in ceremony, then our body on all levels appreciates that that is done. And that feels like it hasn't been completed for many this week. I can see a nail in the wall above me, and the last thing I'm going to share before I look into the actual energies and how to best navigate it is really having to hit that nail home, really having to hit it home this week, that home run, that really batting it out the court this week. Stretch yourself, go the distance, not for anybody else but for yourself. Really go the distance. And that's that hero song now I can hear Hercules, the Disney film, I can go the distance. It is at a time when we kind of feel like there's nothing left. Like, oh my God. But actually go the distance. There's more in there. There's more in there. Just opening up to your own journey, the hero's path, opening up to your own soul's journey this week. Uniting sacredly with that, with the light of who you are, the spirit of who you are. Okay, so how to best navigate the energies this week. So we have the sun of the earth, and it really feels like grounding our masculine energy, really grounding our actions this week, really looking at sustainable long-term actions, but also shorter actions that are seeds of those, and ensuring that we plant wisely this week. Okay, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, overall. Okay. So I'm not surprised to see that we do have a lot of mental energy this week. I'm not surprised to see that at all, being in Gemini. But of course, we are starting to go through to Cancer season by the end of the weekend. And that is obvious in what is actually rising. We are moving from one element to another. We are moving from the mind to the emotional maturity that has come from the thoughts that we have had, if we allow ourselves to do that. There is overall an opportunity of completion in regards to all soul aspects here. So we have the Four of Fire, and what I see is a real deep cleansing on a soul level, a real deep soul healing here, a completion of everything that has been occurring, particularly for the masculine, particularly for our actions as well. However, in order to do that, we must look at where our head is at. We must look at our mind. We must look at any judgments there that are present and also that need to change. It's time to get real. We can be aware of judgments and we can say no judgments, but even that is a judgment. Okay, so really to fine tune, comb through, look at our judgments here, to let them call us out for who we are and change what we feel we want to change. Change what we feel we have moved forward from, because it is the wheel of fortune. It's not the big medicine wheel, it's the small medicine wheel. So it's about taking responsibility for the perspective that you're bringing in and the world that you're creating. If you don't like it, change it. Okay, that's really quite key this week. But that is more halfway through the week. That is after the solstice. Before the solstice, we do have some mental energy to clear. On the Monday, we have the 9 of Swords, the 9 of Air, and it's hurt. It's about the pain that we feel and the wisdom that can be found in pain. Now, the reason I say wisdom is because we have the Owl there. Okay, until we find the teachings within a pain, that's not to say that we don't experience the pain, obviously, but until we find a teaching within the pain, it's always going to be an external, almost self-inflicted, interesting, inflicted, energy upon us. But I have just said self-inflicted, and we are talking about the 9 of Swords here. So really looking at where we may be creating our own, not unnecessary. Who am I to say unnecessary? I'm hearing say unnecessary, but you know, where we are creating pain, you know, where we are reacting from pain, where we are initiating pain on ourselves, and what wisdom that is actually bringing, if any, anymore. Because we are on the 9 of Swords, we are at the end game there. Now, I'm trying to give an example of my own today, but actually I don't have one. This weekend, absolutely, a lot of the trauma held in my jaw, actually, I think I surprised the student, bless her. The trauma that I had in my jaw was quite profound, and the tension in my muscles here, and it has come from not speaking up. It has, from not wanting to hurt people. So again, we're looking at that hurt, from not wanting to hurt people, from trying to do the best that I can do, from trying to see from all different perspectives, and you know, that roundabout journey here where actually there are times when what needs to be said, and then it can be left to lie. Okay, and that really feels like key on the Monday, and that has really brought up a lot of emotions. And it will bring up a lot of emotions, and the biggest emotion as we lead into the Tuesday will be one of fear, because we have the 5 of Swords here. We do have that fear energy, and what we're really being advised to do is to rise above it, to see it actually for what it is, you know, to see it as an opportunity to really develop mentally our thoughts and our process here, because all magic starts with thought. Okay, so if we can be aware of the fear, if we can, I was going to say not separate from the fear, but actually separate from the fear, from the fear, witness the fear. Okay, really have peace with the fear as a part of the natural progression. There is biochemically, cannot say it enough times, no difference between fear and excitement. Okay, so yes, we may be fearful of what would happen if we move forward from these stories, but that can be exciting also, right? That can be really, really exciting. And the best way to do this on the Wednesday as we lead into the solstice is to become young again in our thoughts. The daughter of air, to be playful with what it is we are carrying, to keep the magic simple. Okay, so obviously I'm planning on doing a big dispatcho, but it could end up being 3 Kintu leaves, you know, or a feather, and making a wish. But to keep the magic simple this week is going to be key. If we look at the energies we're trying to bring back in, the masculine energy is very light. It's very, and this isn't stereotypical. It's not to say that it's not serious. It's not to say that it's not, but in its very nature, it's less dense. Okay, so it is light. If we're heavy, that light isn't going to want to come in. If we can keep the energy simple this week, what I see is the phrase, you catch more flies with honey Is it more bees or something? Basically, keep it light, keep it sweet, keep it beautiful, keep it simple this week with our mindset. Recognize that fear can be excitement too, depending on how we want to see that. Know that we are trying to move through some massive collective pain here, and to have respect for that, but respect enough to transmute it once and for all for the light that it longs to be. On the Thursday, post-solstice, we have Judgment. In this deck, it's called Spirit Guide. And what I really love as you look at these cards is you have the wisdom of the owl, okay, and the feathers. And then these feathers form into fear, but that fear becomes almost a structure. Stability, it can become excitement as well, and we rise above that for the foundations that it once brought us, and really look at the perspective that is coming from our mind and take one simple idea and move that forward. Because then on the Thursday, it's like all these characters actually become the judgment in the sky, actually become the spirit guide. Oh wow, I've moved all the cards around now. Yeah, everything that we're going through, the body, everything that we're feeling actually becomes the guide. Can't quite see that. I'll wait for that to focus. I'll pull it away and come back in. Yeah? That leads us forward. And what I see at the bottom here is a lot of masculine figures on horseback. Now horses are renowned for their power and their connection to the earth and their freedom here. Now everything that we feel this week, these emotions, if we allow them to be our guide, that freedom itself will be enough to initiate a more sacred version of our own masculine, a more sacred action. If we can really feel into what it is we are experiencing authentically this week, that is going to really guide our actions, and that is what's going to bring the changes. Okay? We do have the Wheel of Fortune here. Underneath it all, throughout, we have this bird energy. We have this peace, this dove, this eagle, this owl. Yeah, this wisdom here. Allowing the wisdom of our own emotional maturity to direct the changes that are needed this week is going to be key. Solstice. Masculine, feminine, spirit, physical. That is the sacred union. Soul, body, balance. Okay, so the body is the feminine because it's the physical, dense matter. The soul is the masculine because it's that lighter energy. If you want to bring any harmony this solstice, it is really about aligning our physical body with our soul, allowing our soul to feel the experience of being human. That's what we signed up for. Okay, we're not... I see a lot of phrases of I'm a soul experiencing life, but we're human also, and that's really going to embody and ground down the magic that we're trying to achieve here. On the Saturday, it calms. We are in Cancerian season by then, aren't we? Yes, because it's day before the solstice or after the solstice, isn't it? Anyway, we're in Cancerian season, and the energy starts to really calm down, and that's where we're going to be tested the most. That's where we're going to see just how evolved our masculine is. What do we do in those calm moments? Do we see them as an abundant opportunity to be present, to fill our cup, to really in that space start to think about what we want to bring in time for the full moon, to really see the oceans of potential around us that will continue to feed us? Or do we become bored, the stereotypical version of this cup? Do we start to see the stillness for nothingness, for boredom, for, how mature are we in those moments? As the son of earth, how grown have we become? Do we allow the seeds to take place, to plant, to root, to stretch? Or do we start picking at them? Do we start messing around with what it is we were trying to achieve? Do we start, out of sheer boredom, emptying those cups so that we have to go through the whole process of filling them up again? Do we bring the same lessons back in because it's what we know? Yeah, it's comfortable. And that's where we can really start to see the underlying change in our own fear that needs to take place this week. That's where we really start to see the pain and the hurt that we cause ourselves and others through cycles, repetitions that aren't necessary anymore, that aren't actually helping us to grow, that are keeping us small and comfortable, that are actually, by the Sunday, causing a stagnation. Okay, so we've gone from I can't find the Five of Cups. They were there somewhere. Can't find the Five of Cups. I can't find the loss. Right at the beginning. We've gone from the loss, okay? We've figured out what we're frightened of, how we're hurting ourselves and others as a result, any judgments that we have that are calling us out, any changes that need to be put into place. We've had those moments of pause and reflection this week. And some real mental action, and it is recognizing that it's mental action this week. Alone, it's not in balance. We need to pause and be with our emotions as a result of the mental activity that is occurring. And we've done all that. And on the Sunday, compassion. Compassion is key as we stack up all of that now and say, okay, 8 of Cups now, yeah? Stagnation. It is time to move forward. I allow myself and others with forgiveness, gratitude, respect, transition during these rites of passage that we're all going through to move forward now, as I promise to see myself and them and the world through a new set of eyes. So we have 2 major arcanas, which is Judgment and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so really looking at the judgments we have on ourselves, really looking at the judgments that we have on others. One of the things I noticed in my birth chart today with Mars in Gemini is it's got in there that these people are physically affected by boredom. Physically affected by boredom more than any other type of astrological alignment. And that's how I can actually say there's a real difference between boredom and abundance. The Four of Cups, just like any cup in the tarot, has many layers, and we have obviously the first representation of the Four of Cups to the untrained emotions, which is boredom. Okay, I know boredom, I feel it, I physically feel it. But then as that energy matures, we have the abundance of recognizing that as we get older, we have a moment to ourselves. We have a moment to ourselves to pause, to be, to top up. Okay, knowing that the more we do that, then the more we receive and the more we give. So there's a real difference this week, and it's about looking at our own judgments on that and looking at our own judgments on others, because my Mars in Gemini also suggests that I find it really difficult when people aren't as enthusiastic as myself, as passionate as myself, as driven as, oh wow, the world is an incredible place. I find that very difficult to be around, and that can really put some judgments on others. You know, that can also put judgments on myself when I'm not feeling that, when I want to take a moment out, you know, and just be. You know, sometimes it's like, wow, well, the world is amazing, get out there. And really looking at that this week, really looking at your judgments on yourself and in particular on others as a reflection of judgments on yourself and how well they help you keep balance in your own metaphorical cup and what changes may need to be put in place there. And the best way to do that, feel. Allow your emotions to be your guide. If we can stop the judgments on our emotions, which we do mentally, okay, we try and figure out why we're feeling the way we feel, try and make sense of it, try and do something about it, fix it. If we can stop being in our head and be in our body and allow ourselves to feel those emotions, the guidance will be there for the changes that we need to put into place. You know, we talk about the major arcanas being universal forms of fate. So too are our emotions. They are the elements within us. Okay, they are what connects us to Pachamama. They are what our sensations, our feelings are what connects us to each other, to the stars, to all of it. I can look at a chart and say, right, this is happening and that is happening. Everything I've said, I felt anyway. So really, really trusting that. Because that is the other thing that came to light this weekend about how well we actually trust ourselves and our ability to create the magic that we're looking for. Okay, so then we have 1, 2, 3. That's like an order. Order. There is order this week. It doesn't feel like it. It doesn't feel like it. But there is order. But it does almost mean that we have to go in a roundabout way in order to find it. Not a roundabout way, but a different way in order to find new order here. It's a new order that is being asked of us. So we do have the Son of Earth. We have 1 Pentacle card. Just double checking. Yes, 1 Pentacle card. So that new beginning here is going to come in regards to how connected our actions are to what is being asked of us from the earth. How connected so some of us will be asked to witness. Some of us will be asked to step back and observe. Some of us that may have been witnesses will be asked to step forward and lead. It's going to be on a different level this week, and it's really about maturing our own masculine actions here. It's really about maturing who we are and what it is we are talking about. You know, I just felt like it's one thing to talk, okay? It's another thing to look at what you're carrying and what you're gifting others, and that's the physical body this week. That's in the physical actions and in our physical connection to ourselves and each other. You know, if you want sacred relationships, how sacred is your offering? If you want an abundant world, how abundant are your offerings? If you want clarity, how clear are you in your offerings? Are you offering what it is you want? That's the ultimate magic, right? Alignment. That is the ultimate maturation of the soul, being what it is you're trying to achieve. Okay, so my eyes were just drawn to the smoke going across the picture of death and rebirth, and that really feels like that's what's happening just as I look at the first wand card here, which is completion. And there is a clearing here, and there is a death and a rebirth, and it may not feel like it's big, but actually it's really quite profound. It's going to affect our place here on the earth. Yes, the Four of Wands, we can look at our home life, and that's true, and we can look at our environment, and that's true. But what I really feel this week is there's a whole death and rebirth regarding our place here, how belonged we believe, our belongings. Belongings. There's a play on words here going on. What it is we are longing for is what it is we actually are, and we're really going to discover that this week, and that's going to come full circle and provide the clearing and the medicine and the healing that we have been looking for. So then I'm going to go from the 1s to the 2s, which is the cups, and we do have 2 cups, which is a beautiful union here, and that's where I feel confusion. How can it be a union when it isn't quite what I wanted? Now, 4 of water, all of a sudden I saw fear of abundance. Really look at that. Really look at what it is you actually want and where it is you may be holding yourself back now. What it is you need to move forward from. Okay? If it isn't what you want, then it isn't what you want. The confusion is coming in questioning that. Questioning yourself. Questioning what you want, and it is that is providing you with the stagnation that is necessary to recognize what true abundance is, which is being present with you, what you feel, what you offer, what you need, your connection here. Beep beep. End of video. That was the end of the clearing. And that was the end of the clearing of the air, because that's a humidifier in the background. It clears the air, and I always put a few essential oils in there. And today it was lavender. It felt like there was a real need to relax, but also to open the third eye. Lavender is fantastic for opening the third eye and aiding sleep. And when we aid our sleep, what do? We aid our dreams. And it really feels this week to try and find ways to get more rest, to get more sleep, to find time to daydream, to find time to allow those dreams to come into being. Because we have 3 sword cards here, 3 in regards to the element of air. And I feel emotions there. I really feel emotions there, and I feel the ability to create with our emotions if we allow ourselves the permission to actually feel them, to see emotions for the very magic that they entail, rather than to fear them or doubt how our magic will be received, how our creations will be delivered. Yeah, to get to the point to not worry about hurting people in the process of putting our own needs first this week is really going to be key. I hear the word wing and a prayer, to go out on a wing and a prayer, to not necessarily jump, but be prepared to do so if asked. Okay, so with that in mind, we're going to have one overall card, because that has caused like quite a discomfort in my third eye, just above my right eye. It's funny, I'm just hearing spot the spots, because I have spots coming up, one here and one here above my right eye, and I never get spots on my face. I did as a teenager, but not so much now. But I love the fact that they're over my right eye, which is my masculine side, and there's, it's coming to the surface. There's a lot coming to the surface in regards to what I see and the actions that I put in place as a result, and collectively also, because the card at the bottom of the pack again is the 9 of air and a hurt. Observe your body. It will give you all the signs that you need regarding what is going on. Okay, so this is skin level now. This has come from the inside out, and it's really coming to the surface for me to see and to finally clear. What is going on with your body? Observe it. Listen to it. Okay, if you really want this healing to come finally full circle, receive the wisdom that is available by merely looking at yourself, by merely having a good, long, hard look in the mirror at what is going on for you. Okay, so one card overall, best way to navigate the energies, and it's going to be that. There it is. There it is, and I was really, really quite pleased to see the 5 of Cups, the loss. Quite pleased to see it come full circle. And what is next to it is the 7 of Swords, the 7 of Air, the futility. Okay, the endurance that comes from almost being over appreciative of the losses that have occurred, over appreciative of the mourning that has occurred. Really, really looking at that this week, recognizing that it has give you the aid to move forward, but that there is more out there to be had. This stick here, it's got the feathers on, but look at the birds in the distance. They've flown on. Okay, they've moved on. I want to say, darling, they've moved on. Okay, it's time to allow yourself, ourselves, the earth herself, permission to do the same, because we do have the Queen of Pentacles and the Father of Earth underneath. Okay, we do have that sacred union here, the Mother of Earth and the Father of Earth here, coming to light. In time for the solstice, there's wonderful opportunity of a deeper, more sustainable worth. I was going to say abundance, and it's not, it's worth. If we can just allow ourselves permission to move on now. Take care. Have the most incredible, incredible week. See you next week. Take care.